Alright, got the youngins in bed, except for Hunter, who's watching his Paw Patrol. So hopefully he won't be too interruptive. Okay, picking up from before. Let's get a little here. Oh, okay. One, the parenting skills that a lot of you comment about, those are, were ingrained by CPS back in 2004. Okay. Now, the deal with CPS, they showed up one day, and said, look, basically, like I did here, I asked for help. I said, yes. I told them that, taking care of Candace and Avery at the same time, and, I was overwhelmed. Sean worked a lot. And, he helped around the house the best he could, but I asked for help, for somebody to be a go-between, for me, for, my husband and I, and mother-in-law. I was like, look, okay, you guys say, this stuff that's not ours, we know it all needs to go. We don't want it in this house, but the person who owns the house is saying we are not allowed to remove it. Okay? And I am sorry. Sean would never stand up to his mom. He didn't stand up to her, period. I'm sorry. I did. I was the one to do that. So, yeah. So, we basically asked, this is, the first day meeting CPS. We asked, okay, look, I would greatly appreciate, one, maybe 2 days a week, somebody helping with childcare, so that somebody can, take the 2 kids, I can drop the 2 kids off with someone, and I can focus solely on getting my tasks done. Have time for me to get a shower, pick up my bedroom, clean up the house, do the dishes. Because it's a little hard to do the dishes when you pump, and you have to pump, 20 minutes per side. And that's every, 4 hours during the day. 20, 30, 40. Come on, pumping 40 minutes of pumping every 4 hours? And the way I was doing it is, no. Up at 2. I'm sorry, not 2. I would get up at 8. and pump. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would feed Avery his lunch, and then I would pump. Well, there's an hour gone there. Avery's lunch and pumping, that's 12 to 1 gone. And then I would pump again at 4. And then I would cook dinner. At 4 o'clock, I would pump, and then I would cook dinner, feed everyone dinner. And then at 9 o'clock, Avery went to bed about between 8 and 8:30. And 9 o'clock, I would sit down, I would pump. 10, 11, 12. And then I would get up at midnight, and I would pump. And then of course from midnight, after I finished pumping, probably be about 1 o'clock, from 1 o'clock until about 7:30ish. That would be my sleep. So that was kind of my schedule there. That's how I worked it. And that does not even include the time it takes to mix the to put to set up, mix the bottles, and or feed Candace. Feed, burp, change. I did not have a lot of time. So, and I explained it. I, told them the schedule and everything. And I said, yes, it would be nice if, I could have a few, like one, just one day, one afternoon that I could just, take the kids away and not have to worry about them, one day of daycare would be heaven sent. If you could schedule 2, oh, I would be set. I could use those 2 days to pump, get my supply up, and, clean. Candace goes here, I can, for, 2 days, she can be, for those 2 days that she's out, it could be, hold on. Put the kids to bed 30 minutes ago. Yay. But, yes, I said, yes, if you are willing to help me, I want help. Please, whatever help you can give, I will take. Yes, I asked for help. And I did say I did say I need help negotiating with my mother-in-law, who happens to be the landlord, to get things done around the house. Please help. They came back the next day. The very next day. Looked around and said, I'm sorry, this house is trash. You have a choice. You can either sign your kids over to us for a month, or you can have a police officer visit your house every day and inspect it. And if said officer finds anything wrong with your house or your parenting or anything, he will have authority to put your children in his car and take them away for good. And you will have to have a long legal battle to get them back. It's like, okay, so I just say, basically, you take them for 1 month, you help us do what we need to do, and then they come back, right? Yes. That's it. That is exactly what's going to happen. What about the child care? I'm sorry, we can't offer that now. What? Yesterday, you told me child care. That I could do child care. Now you're saying it's not an option. 24 hours later, with no explanation why the child care was taken off. So, do I really want a police officer to come to my house every day and have the authority to just take my kids away forever on a whim? I mean, I've had this lady come into my house and say that not having AC is child neglect. What if I get a police officer that feels the same? That thinks the same way? An officer can come in and it doesn't matter what he finds wrong. I mean, I could be sitting there doing something completely illegal. I mean, oh, wait, perfect. Sean and I could be on our days, on, his day off. We could have our friends over. Oh, here comes kid. All right. Sean and I's favorite pastime was a little something called Dungeons and Dragons. Mommy. Yes, I see. We do not LARP or live action role play. No. There will be anywhere from 3 to, I don't know, maybe 10. Anywhere from 3 to 10 of us sitting around in the living room with dice. Yeah. And I don't mean, yes, honey. I don't mean, normal dice. Not what you consider a dice. It's what most of you think of when you hear dice, you think of D6. Your little 6-sided dice. Well, we gamers have multiple. You have a 20-sided die, 12-sided. You have a percentile, which is a 10-sided. It's got one Leave the kitty alone. And then you have your regular D10. No, leave kitty alone. You have an 8-sided die, your 6-sided die, and then you have a 4-sided die. And that is your set. You need all of them for most, well, I think most, for some role-playing games. At least the ones we did. Later, if you guys are interested, I can, share with you what a gaming session is like. But Mommy. Yes. Here, let's put that down here. Okay, honey? Down here. Like that. Okay? Where do you want it? It's not going to stick, baby. There. Okay, now, with most... Now, there are those... Okay, here, I'll put it this way. There are still those people who think... Now, granted, it's wrong, but you have those people who think that, honey, it won't stick. No. You have those who think that Dungeons and Dragons is a form of, like, Satanism or something. And no, it is just a simple role-playing game with a pen, paper, and books. Well, pen, paper, books, and dice. Fancy dice. It is a lot of fun. It is a very good, I feel it is a very good form of therapy for a lot of people. Mommy. Okay. Because your hair is dry. It's dry. Because, yeah. I mean, if you guys have seen the game, I know I've got one video, it's probably about a year old or so. Yeah, you're dry. No. I have said no. It is not that you do not get it. No. If you go back and look up you can search for Dragon Strike. And I actually did a live feed with me playing Dragon Strike with Dean and Jace. And that's pretty much similar to what Dungeons and Dragons is. The thing is, you get to become another person. So you assume a role. You can step outside your reality. And you can somewhat control this reality a bit. Yeah. You can temporarily be somebody better than yourself, if you're angry and frustrated, at someone, well, you go use your dice and you're an adventurer. Go beat up some monsters. Hunter. Shh. Something like that. It's fun. It's easy. It's, for me, I know for me, it was very nice therapy. And of course, you can learn consequences. I mean, depending on which group you get. I mean, you can get one where it's more role-playing, which is, you do more talking than fighting. Or you can get, you can find a group that's combat heavy, where you do a lot of fighting and not a lot of talking. Me, I try to do a combination, equal amounts. And so did Sean, and it was a lot of fun. No. Oh, I see. So, but small town. What if an officer shows up, in the middle of a gaming session? And, we have Avery involved. Oh no. We're teaching him math and numbers with the dice. Yeah. Ow. Shh. Shh. No. Give me that. That's mine. See, I keep this here so he doesn't, so I can keep an eye on it. But what if we get, that one officer or, that one person who thinks that this is the devil's work? And, oh no, we're corrupting our children. Okay? And I myself am, at the time, straight up, I was a pagan. I was just a full-on witch. A pagan witch. I followed, my religion at the time was neo-paganism. The branch I followed was eclectic Wicca. Okay, it is a very, peaceful. Wicca itself is a very, normally peaceful religion. It's a lot like the original. Buddy. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's a lot like the Native American, original Native Americans, every spirit. Every creature has a life. Has a spirit, has a name. It's what every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. And most, not all, Wiccans do follow what's known as the threefold law. Whatever you do comes back on you times 3. You do good, you're going to get good in return. You do bad, you're going to get bad, in return. I did a lot of, the spells I did were more with herbs, candles, fairies. I mean, come on. If you break down Avery's name, my first son, my first child, his name translates into the Elven King of Scotland from the clan Mackay. And yes, I chose his name, a lot based on the meaning. So, but, I mean, oops, I could be doing a simple, house cleansing. I could be smudging. Oh, I love smudging. Mom. Oh, yes. Ew. I mean, I could be doing a simple candle ritual, for good luck or prosperity, money or something. And, an officer shows up and says, "Oh, you're doing the devil's work. Your children are gone." So, yes, I had valid fears and concerns that people could come in and take my kids for any damn reason they chose. So, I said, Sean and I talked it. Then, and I mean, they didn't even give us time to consider it. Okay, we had to sign the papers that day. We didn't even have 24 hours to think about this process. We didn't even have an hour to discuss the options. Mama. So, what? Yes. So, we were pressured to sign our children over. So, yay. And then, once we signed them over, we immediately started applying for help. And we got told, you know what? You don't have custody of your kids. You don't qualify for government assistance. You don't qualify for any form of government aid at all. Okay, you can't get any monetary assistance whatsoever. So, they basically screwed us. And then tried to shove this, what I now completely understand to be bullshit parenting down our throats. We fought social services for a year, and you had 4 parties involved. Okay? After the first 6 months, let me rephrase that. We did 1 month. And it's like, okay, we've done a lot of what you've said. Can we please have our children back now? No, you haven't done enough. No. I got told I was schizotypal. My husband got told he was mentally ill. He had a mental illness. Hold on. Okay, problem solved. Yay. Now, you gotta remember, by this time, my mother-in-law was very wrapped up in her extracurricular activities, in her volunteer work. Okay, she was she was really big. Sorry. She did a lot of work with the Boy Scouts and Adventure Scouts. So, for her summer is pretty much spent jumping from camp to camp to camp to camp to camp. She would be at camp. She'd be at this camp for a week. Come home for a few days, go back to this camp, be home for a few days, and, go to that camp, be home for a few days, and, pretty much that's it. She'd go, she was very, very active. That's how she spent her time. She didn't have a job. Her husband is an officer, a higher ranking officer in the military. I want to say he was like around a colonel, a medical colonel. So, I mean, come on. Pentagon. Need I say more? He was an officer, that went to the Pentagon for meetings. He was an army surgeon, I think. He was a high-ranking army doctor. So, she really didn't need to work. All of their finances were, taken care of. Their house was paid off. I mean, yeah, he paid rent in D.C., but I think some of that was also covered by the military. He also got was a stipend for that. So, yeah. But, no, it's at the end of the month, CPS started, at the end of the month, they basically, at the beginning of the month, that 1 month, they were giving us, these small little tasks, and we got these small little tasks done. And then at the end of the month, when it's like, look, everything you've said, we've done. Can we please have our kids back? It's like, oh, no, sorry. You need to be evaluated first. And they really didn't care, which doctor my husband went to go see. But no, they had to send me to this one particular doctor. And she was always booked. She was booked a month ahead of time. 1, if not 2 months ahead of time. They couldn't have told me this at the beginning when they first took the kids so I could get that 1 month and have it done. No. I had to wait. We went that first month, okay? And then we said, okay, we've done everything. And then it's like, there's 2 more months we had to wait. Just for me to see that one doctor, that one supposed psychiatrist, who sat down with me for 15 minutes and decided I was schizotypal, and I was 1 step down from schizophrenia. I had magical thinking because I was a gamer, because I was Wiccan, let's see, I was a danger to my children because I was supposedly out of touch with reality. Because I practice, because I was not a Christian. I was not a Christian, and I was a gamer. I played role-playing games. And because of those two things, I was a danger to my kid. Well, both of my kids, and completely out of touch with reality. And then they tried to say my husband was mentally ill because he's obsessed with Star Wars. Yeah. You know how you get those guys that are like, oh my god, over the moon with football? They know all the trivia. I mean, everything has to relate to football for these guys. That was Sean with Star Wars and his role playing. We role played Star Wars. But role playing makes us out of touch with reality. And so here it is. I'm sitting here trying to go through all these. I get the one in, and they say, I need more. Well, oh yeah, again, in the middle of all this, they're talking with, as I said, there were 4 parties involved. You had me and Sean, and I'm not including CPS here, okay? I'm not including CPS. You had me and Sean were being told one thing. My mother-in-law, Nancy, was being told something completely different. And then my mom, who joined in after 6 months, was given a different story. And then you had the foster parents who had a different story. And by the way, I still talk with the foster mother. She and I are friends on Facebook. She has been on camping. She has been on family camping trips. My mom's invited her. She's come. And it's like, I can get along with her. She's nice. I like her. But CPS wasn't telling all of us the same story. So I hear, Sean and I are doing everything we can to fight to get our children back. And we're doing things that were technically illegal for us. We were making modifications to our house. I mean, you're not supposed to, I guess it's not really illegal, but it's stuff that we really weren't supposed to do. Okay? Out of pocket, we had to pay for specific paint that they wanted. We had to paint the inside of the house. Oops. Hey!
Mom, you can break the baby cake down.
Okay. No. Sean and I were painting the outside of the house. Painting the inside of the house. We were working on getting replacement windows for the house. We were tearing up carpet. we were basically remodeling inside the house. And we tried to pack up what we could, of his grandparents' stuff and put it in the barn. However, we were supposed to be getting, permission. We had to wait, to get the permission. It's like, look, okay, we have to run this by the person who owns the house. Unless we do all this work ourselves, we can't go hire somebody to paint the house. If you don't own the house, you cannot hire someone to do the work on it. I mean, something like, electric or, fix an electric problem or a plumbing problem, something like that, you can do. You can call a plumber, you can call an electrician, all that stuff. But things like replacing carpet, you can't have somebody do that for you unless you own the home. Or you have, or they talk to the owner of the home to verify that you have permission to do it. And that's also painting the house, inside or out. It's everywhere we went. So we ended up doing all this work ourselves, which took longer because we would wait for Nancy. And we would have to wait 1, sometimes 2 weeks, to speak with her, to get permission. And then there it goes. It takes another week, for us to get the work done because Sean still has to go to work and do his job while we're doing all of this. And, we really couldn't afford to pay. We were on one salary and it wasn't exactly minimum wage. It was a bit higher, but yeah. And then in the middle of it all, Sean lost his job because of it. Because of everything going on with CPS, Sean lost his job. And we really didn't know what to do. We couldn't afford to do any of the fixing, any of the repairs they wanted us to do. We couldn't do it. And they would not provide us with any assistance. It's, oh, you need to do this. Okay. Couple weeks later, 2, 3 weeks later. Okay, it's done. Oh, now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. And it's like, it kept occurring like that. So, I am not even sure at what point it started, but, oh yeah, about the 6-month mark, Nancy, mother-in-law, got a little fed up, and, she actually started to, try to gain custody. Okay. So she was filling out the paperwork. She filled out the paperwork twice. She filled out the paperwork at one point. Her and my father-in-law filled out the paperwork. They turned it in. And I know they turned it in, but it got lost somehow. Supposedly, I know I saw them turn it in together, but you know, our social worker, well, the CPS worker, says she never received their paperwork. So they got it and filled it out again. So, and instead of, oh, hi, Binksies. And instead of putting, money, a lot of money to fix up our house to help us get the kids back, mother-in-law started building a new house on her property and was going to have all of us move in together. She wanted me and Sean to move in with her, and then she get the kids. Or all of us get the kids in that house, not the one we're living in. And unfortunately, the house had to be built because her house, the house she was living in, did not have the room. It was, in the words of CPS, it was too full. It was overfull. It was overflowing with stuff. So the only way she would be able to get the kids is if she had a brand new home, completely empty. And that's what she started doing. So, seeing we weren't getting anywhere with her, I went to my mom. And that's when my mom told me that the foster mom was was trying to adopt my kids. And is like, wait, we weren't told that. Our caseworker, they didn't tell us that. We were trying to do everything we could for them. And, so at that point, my mom started working with CPS in Virginia. And I guess the two CPSs were working together and decided it would be best if my kids went to my mom. So, from two parents to a single mom with two teenage kids. After talking with our court-appointed lawyer, we sat down, court-appointed lawyer and me, Sean, and my mom all sat down and had a nice, lovely chat. And basically, we were given the same option to begin with. The only way for Sean and I to get Avery and Candace back at all was to go through another state. Minnesota was not going to give us our children. Period. No matter what they were saying to us. So, the deal was, my mom said we could sign them over to her. We would go to Minnesota. We would move to Virginia. My mom was supposed to come. We would live with my mom for a few months. And once Sean and I got settled and on our feet in Virginia, my mom would sign, would basically go to the court and just give custody back to me and Sean. And that would be it. We were supposed to be signing temporary custody to my mom. That is what Sean and I agreed to. That was our, plea deal that we agreed to in the court with the lawyer. We get to Virginia. And after a month, we find out that we signed over full, total guardianship. That's not what we agreed on. That's not what we wanted to do. So here it is. Avery is, it's now 2004. So Avery's like 2-3 years old. Candace is a year old. Here it is. My mom comes up, drives up to pick up the kids. Sean and I have already packed everything. We've got everything is packed, everything is ready. The plan set up by me, my mom, and Granny was my mom and Granny would drive out to Minnesota, pick up the kids, and me. And then, we would all drive back because Granny was the one paying. At least for this trip. I know Granny was paying for this specific trip. And they got up there. Mom, Granny got up there, and guess what? There was somebody sitting in my seat. My mom brought my brother. So, he was like 14, 15. So, and because my mom brought my brother, there was not any room for me to ride back with them. I was very upset. And I was slightly devastated there. It's like, I wanted to go be with my kids. I wanted my children. I had my hopes up high. It's like, yes, I can finally go home with my babies. I can hug them, kiss them. I can cuddle with them, and I'll be with them. And then it all got shattered. Yay. So, hey. And then from there, I'm not even going to get into all the details with the mess that came afterwards, but it ended up that Sean and I, we got an apartment. He had a good job, and I had a job. We had an apartment. We were catching up. We were, behind on our rent, but we had made a deal. We were catching up. We were getting on our feet. And then suddenly I get a phone call, over the summer. Hey, Avery is starting kindergarten. And I don't have anyone to get him on. Avery's bus comes before his. And I'm not going to be home in time to get him on the bus. And I don't have the money to pay for a babysitter. Do you think you can come and help? I've got a job. I'm working on a promotion. I'm working on, I'm trying to get a manager, an office job. I'm trying to go from cashier to back office. But you know what? That promotion, that job, that's nothing. I'm going to my baby needs me. I'm going to my baby. And that's what I did. Oh yeah, my aunt who got me the job, who I worked with, was also pressuring me. It's like, look, you need to go help your mom take care of your son. You got to go help your mom take care of your kids. I mean, your mom's going to get home from work. She's going to work all night and then she's going to come home and go to sleep. And while she's sleeping, who's going to be watching your daughter? Yeah, your son will be at school, but who's going to be watching your daughter? Like, well, yeah, you got a point. I do need to deal. Yeah. Okay. So, I thought I was doing a solid. I thought I was doing the right thing. I was, at that point, Sean and I we had started, we had started parenting classes. Okay, at that point. However, when I have to go and help take care of the kids, that kind of, we don't have time yet. The parenting classes kind of got dropped. We physically could not make it there in time. He would get off work, pick me up. Well, actually, yeah. No, we were in the parenting classes. We made it work for a while because he would get off work, pick me up, and then we'd go home. And one day a week, we would head up to our parenting classes. However, after a few months, we were like halfway through our parenting classes. And then my mom found out the person who owned her house, the house she was renting, wanted to sell it. She couldn't really afford it. She couldn't afford to buy it at the time. So, she and I sat down and talked, and it's like, you know what? Since you don't have a job anymore, you guys can't really pay your rent at the apartment, and your apartment's going to get demolished soon anyway. Once you guys' lease is up, you're done. So why don't we all just get a house together and be happy? And it's like, you know what? Yeah, my thoughts on this. If I move in with my mom, she'll be working. Okay. During the day, she's going to be at work during the day. Most of the time. I am going to be the main one taking care of the kids. I go live with her. I get to be a mom. Ooh, yay. I get to be a mother to my children. I get to cook them dinner. I get to tuck them in at night. I get to read them stories. I get to play with them. I get to help them with their homework. I get to do all this stuff with them. Yes, let's do it. Please, please. I want to be with my kids. And I don't have to go to court with my mom, to get my kids back. Because I'll be raising them by living with her. Yay, good. It's a win-win for everyone. Oh. Pup. We were in the house. It was really nice. Everything was great for a while. My mom had downstairs with the kids. Sean and I had upstairs. We had Matt. Matt was upstairs with us for a while, and then I really don't know what happened. I mean, Sean worked overtime and, tried, to always make sure he paid my mom rent on time. And if he couldn't, if his paycheck was not enough to cover the rent that she needed or wanted at that time, he would borrow against his next paycheck. And, his work let him do that. And he would always make sure to get the rent, have the full amount of rent for my mom. But somehow between him, the money leaving his hands and getting to my mom's hands, somehow some of it went missing. So, I get told by Granny that, my mom was saying that we weren't paying rent. We weren't paying our full rent on time. And it's like, no, I can show you the paycheck stubs where, Sean is taking these advances just to make sure we pay. So I don't know what's going on. At some point, my brother moved out. And this crazy lady moved in. And oh my god, at first she was alright. And then she brought in her husband. Her, I don't know, common law husband, something, I don't know. Her significant other. And her significant other and her started to do anything and everything they could to piss off me and Sean. Literally. Okay, here it is. I put the kids to bed at 8. Here it is, 9 o'clock, and he's playing like Call of Duty, a Call of Duty game at fucking 100 volume. To the point it's disrupting my kids' sleep. We knock on the door, ask him, hey, look, the kids are trying to sleep. Can you please cut it down? Back off! The kids are sleeping. We're trying to be polite. Can you please let the children sleep? They've got school tomorrow. Volume up. Well, no. First, door lock. You hear that click of the lock. And then you hear the volume go up even more. And it's like, oh my God. You're waking? Here it is. It's 10, 11 o'clock at night. And you are waking up my children who've got to go to school. So I would go downstairs and I shut off the power. I flipped the breaker switch on them. And then they called my mom. And gave my mom some story. I don't know. My mom called and started chewing me out. And I'm like, you wait. And then I explained. It's like, yes, I cut the power. Yes, I flipped the breaker switch. But that is because it is like 10, 11 o'clock at night. We have asked them 3 to 5 times to please, very politely, can you please cut your volume down so the kids can sleep? And they would tell us to and cut it up louder. They are waking up the kids. And the kids have got school. Now, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, and then the other issue we got into living with my mom is my mom did not like, my mom and Sean were constantly butting heads. I mean, it was to the point Sean went and got dental work done. He got 2 wisdom teeth pulled. My mom is driving him home, berating him for something or another. I don't know what. And he's in pain, not really paying much attention to her. So she goes and smacks him upside the head. He has her pull over. He asks her to pull over. She does, and well, this is what he said. This is what he told me. So she went to smack him again. He got out of the car and he walked home from then on. So I don't know all the details on that one, but that is what he said. So all I know is my mom and Sean got, oil and water, oil and water, oil and water. Just nope. So unfortunately, that did not work. At some point, I get told by my mom that our landlord wanted me and Sean, or at least, just wanted Sean out of the house. Period. And if Sean didn't leave, we were all going to be evicted. Including the two wipes. The two butt wipes that we were fighting with. Is your Paw Patrol still on? Yeah, you still watching Paw Patrol? No? Does Mommy need to fix Paw Patrol? What? Hey, does Mommy need to fix Paw Patrol? Yeah? Oh, well, okay, you play with your trucks. So, needless to say, and it was about this time, I'm sorry, I was fighting with this woman and her boyfriend, husband, significant other, whatever. And it's like, yay. Just, So, Sean and I found this really cute house in Granny's neighborhood that we could rent. We actually found it through a friend of ours. Susan, Mrs. Honeybar, love you, baby girl. I miss you. You and Nelda, too. I really miss both of you. Wish we could spend time together, but you're on the other side of the state. You will always be my family. Both of you. We basically moved into the house. We got everything ready. We set up a room. We had our room. We set up a room for the kids. I was working on getting a job. Sean still had his job with a very good company. And we were getting everything together. And we had visitation. The kids were coming over to our house for the weekends. It was like every other weekend. And then, we got to the point. Well, it was at that specific point, when we moved into this house, that we found out that if we wanted custody of our kids, we would have to take my mom to court for it. Yeah, it wasn't until we moved into this house and we started, we got everything together and it's like, hey, look, we moved in Easter. And let's see, 2-3 months in for Easter, we were asking, we had everything set up. We both had our jobs, everything. Well, we were getting everything in order. I think there was one thing my car died. The car died. We were looking for a replacement car. That was the only problem. We needed a bit more reliable vehicle. The vehicle we had was kind of crappy. But that's when we finally got down. It's like, look, we finally got to the point. It's like, look, you said no to the apartment because we were behind in rent. Well, we have the apartments were supposed to be torn down anyway. The apartments were going to be temporary. We were going to live there. We had a roommate with us at first. He moved out, and when he moved out, we were only supposed to be able to stay there for like 1 to 2 years because the apartments were getting torn down. At fight. So at that point, we did not really try to fight. Well, instead of fighting for custody, my mom said, hey, move in and we'll see how it goes. I'm like, okay. Well, and then we had the issue with the landlord wanting Sean out and then us moving. And once we got everything settled into the house, it's like, okay, hey, we've moved in. We would like our children. We want full custody back. We would like our children back, please. And that is when we got told that, that's when we had to do all the paperwork ourselves and literally found out that the court had given my mom full legal custody. And if we wanted the kids, we would have to take her to court in Virginia. And Virginia court would have to say, would have to tell her to give them back. And at this point, my mom did not want to sign. My mom didn't want to give the kids back. My mom flat out said, if you want the kids, you've got to take me to court for them. So, we started our paperwork. We started parenting classes. Again, we got through all of the required amount of parenting classes. And we continued on. We stayed in. And we filled out the paperwork, and a few days after Sean dropped the paperwork off on his way to work. I think it was a Friday. Saturday, we celebrated my daughter's birthday. And then Sunday, he was shot and killed. And paperwork had already been started. So I went through custody battle against my mom alone. Well, no. I had Glenn and Susan with me. I had the support of my aunt and Granny. But we ended up in a mudslinging battle worse than any presidential debate. Well, not debate, but, campaign. Yeah. And I ended up losing. I lived in Richmond City. My mom lived in Goochland County. And, sorry, my mom had a fake fiance, and I was living with another couple. Yeah. So, I was a student in a nursing class. My mom had a job. Her fiance was her boss. One of her bosses. So they both had a job. And it was actually towards the end of this custody battle, that I met James. And even, with James at my side, I lost. Because Goochland County is a better place to raise the kids. They're happy where they are. They've done good for now. So, let's not disturb them. But when I met James, he knew everything. And James and I sat down and we worked out a goal plan so that he and I, would later get, after the whole thing, once we got married, we found out we were pregnant, we got married, and after that, um, I guess we got married in December, and in January, he and I sat down and we worked out a goal plan for him and I to get custody back. He was going to help me fight for custody. Now that I was married, he had a good job. He was working, I was in school, and yes, we had a child together, but we were going to be a perfect family. And unfortunately, that goal never came to fruition. It was never achieved. Every time we would achieve one mini goal, and we would basically take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And then it got to the point where it's not even worth the fight anymore. The kids are in high school. Both Avery and Candace are in high school. So what good is it going to do? And deep down, my head gave up. My head says, look, I know, it's never going to happen. My children were literally ripped from my hands. I was denied a chance to raise my first two children. And it's the one thing that kept giving me hope with them is eventually I'd be able to get them back. Eventually I would be their mom. I would still be their mom. I'd be able to get them back. And now they both left the nest. And I don't even know if I can call myself their mom. I didn't get to raise them. Do I have any right to be proud of what they've become? Have I had any influence in their lives at all? Do I mean anything to them? I don't know. And it hurts. And that is what I have been fighting since November. That is what I've been trying to come to terms with. And unfortunately, I fell. And I really don't have a lot of mental health support right now. I was working with Serenity Counseling, but nope, I got denied. I was working with them, and then everything got dropped. It got dropped. I don't know what happened. It dropped, and when I found out, I went to try to reapply to get everything set back up, and I got denied. I've got a psychiatrist, but that's mainly medication. And I've tried to ask for other medications to help, but I mean, I've given suggestions. It's like, look, I have not been able to fully wean Hunter. He will latch on in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping. I will wake up and find him on the boob. And it doesn't matter if I wear a bra. I can wear a freaking turtleneck and he'll pull it up. Unless I've got a bodysuit, unless I was in this pants and shirt together, turtleneck, he'll pull the boob out. And if he can't get it out, he'll fuss and whine and won't go back to sleep. And then he starts hitting me. I mean, I think you guys may have seen a little bit of him whining and wanting it now, and it's like, I don't know. But because he gets that little bit of breast milk, my psychiatrist won't give me any more medications than the Zoloft I'm taking. And, I mean, I can't. Where I'm living now, my reception is shitty. I mean, I'm sorry, we dropped a fucking 911 call. When I found George deceased, I called 911 and I dropped the call twice. If I want to talk on my phone, I mean, I have to stay in one spot. I can barely hear anyone, and that doesn't really help for conversations. I mean, and I'm sorry, my caseworker isn't doing Zoom calls or anything like that. Nothing, computer face to face. I mean, I can't go see her. They're only working via phone call. And I can't do that. So I don't have any. I hardly have any mental health support right now. And if you're wondering, Candace has moved to Minnesota. She's with her aunt, her dad's sister. That's fine. It's where she was born. It's where she loves. It's fine. She's old enough to make her own decisions. But I'm going to end it for here. I'm going to end it here for now. And there's probably going to be a part 3 that I'm going to try to record tomorrow. Because there is a little bit more going on as well. But that is a separate story. Oh. For now, peace out. Love ya.